Good evening, everybody. Dr. Glow here with Black Girl Everything. Welcome to season 4. Really excited. Been kind of sporadic a little bit with my interviews, but now I'm starting to get back on track. So we are doing episode number 4 today, I think, or 3. I could be confused. Who knows? But I have the beautiful Cyan here with me today. Hello, darling. How are you?
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
You guys don't know, she's like one of my secret momentum best friends. So like she's really excited for her to be here today to talk about her business and what she's working on. And I see her contract behind us. Really, really cool.
Always have it up.
Good for you. So Cyan, please tell everybody the name of your business and how do you even come up with that?
Yes. Okay. So my name is Cyan and my business is called Cloud Sci Events. And the way that I came up with my business was actually I was brainstorming names with my sorority sister and my first client that I took on under my own business. Okay. So she brought the name Cloud9 Events to me, but I wanted to add my own razzle dazzle to it. And so I put Sci. So that was the birth of the name, Cloud Sci Events.
All right, fancy. So what do you do?
Yes, so my event planning business, I do anything that is needed, and I support where I am needed and wanted. My goal is to have people bring their vision to me and to make it a stress-free process because event planning is, already stressful. But I actually love it. I'm a Virgo, so I'm very organized. Yeah, so I like to bring the joy so that the clients experience the joyful part of the event and I handle everything that they would normally get stressed out about.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I get it. So I host a number of major events during the year. I do only 4 major events, but I do smaller things. So I totally get the stress of it. My event management company is really interesting. My wife, who's one of the presidents of the company, Infinity Blue, is also a Virgo. So I totally get it. Yeah, that's what I say, Virgo. So like, oh, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, you guys are completely organized people and really creative, ultimately.
Yes, it's definitely a benefit to the business and being an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So what made you decide to do this business? So why did you want to get into like event planning and organization? Like what inspired you really to want to do this?
I have the entrepreneurial mindset. I know that I don't want to work for anyone in my life. I want to work for myself. Yeah. And I was looking at what skills I have that I can monetize. And along with other aspirations that I have, I noticed that event planning was the big thing that kept coming up. And I definitely have a passion for it. And so that's where it came. And I was like, yo, I can really do this. And so once I did it, it's funny because my friends and family were like, this makes sense because I'm always hosting events. I'm in a sorority, and then on campus I was very involved, and so I was involved with campus events that we had, and then in my sorority I've been heavily involved in our event planning.
Okay, all right, so you've been homing in your whole life with organizing people's fun times.
Yes, yeah, it's the controller in me,
Virgos are also controlling, yes.
I accept it. I embrace it. And look, look what's come out of it, right?
Exactly. This is how you use it, how you home in on it, ultimately.
Yeah.
Like definitely. So what type of events do you like to manage?
Okay, so I like birthday parties. The goal is to be a wedding planner. So I'm building my way up with that. But I do large scale events. I honestly can do anything. Not to brag, but I can. So I do large scale events, and then I also do small scale like retreats. I know that you also have a retreat, so I do things of that sort. And leadership building, team events, and educational events.
Okay. So for people in the corporate aspect of it, because you speak so well, right? Because I've heard you speak, you pretty much thoughts come in your head and it spews out. It's like, when you open your mouth, right?
Thank you.
So as you start creating this organization, you're talking about with business aspects and working with different corporations in regards to leadership. So, you know, my doctor is actually transformation leadership. So I'm big on leadership and what that means and represents. So tell me a little bit about what type of culture you would like to cultivate in corporate spaces.
In corporate spaces, I would like to create a culture where everyone is not stiff, right? We recognize that we are there to work and get the job done, but we can also have fun while doing so. And reminding people that work is a home away from home. And so how can we be more productive in that work environment is by having fun, right? Having fun, feeling welcomed, and feeling like it is a team atmosphere. So that's what I can bring to the corporate world.
Yeah, play is so important with adults. You know, I'm also, as an educator, I believe a lot in play and how you play and how you engage with other adults around you. So give me an idea of some of the activities you would do in, say, a group setting, building on leadership around play. And it's kind of describe what some important parts about you, because you like to play, you like to get down. You love to hang out with people, you love to party, you love to go out to eat, socialize, engage, and connect, right? Because those things are really important. So as a trainer or an organizer of an event, what types of key elements would you bring to the space to support play with adults?
Yeah, so I'm very intentional about my work. First, I would ask what is wanted in the space, wanted and needed in the space amongst the team players. And then I do have very activity-based activities for everyone to get involved with. I had a sisterhood retreat a couple of weeks ago, and I had created a speed dating activity where people got to know each other, and everyone was in different categories based on different areas of their life that they were in, because there's different stages when you are in a sorority. And so when we participated in that, we got to really network with each other and understand the different areas of life that each other were in, and how we can be able to lift each other. So that's just one kind of activity that I would do. And then I'm very big on effective communication. And so I like to incorporate different activities that help to team build, but incorporate speaking with one another, and realizing that when we talk to each other, you might say one thing and I might interpret it completely different because of my communication style. Yeah. So those are two really big things: meeting each other and learning how to communicate with each other.
Yeah, definitely. It's the first way to connect, because you connect directly through communication, however it is, verbal, nonverbal. Just how you present yourself, being open, right? And how people perceive you when you're actually very closed off. It's easy to see. So when you talk about communication, I think communication is really important. So as we segue off into this, because you're part of a lot of different organizations between your sorority and different organizations that you work with, what are some of the key things that you would suggest to individuals when it comes down to communication, even when it comes down to communicating with someone like you who's in looking to create such a great experience at an event?
The number one thing is transparency.
Okay.
I find that in any conversation, transparency will bring clarity, and it's up to the other person to receive it, but at least you were clear, right? So for example, if someone came to me about an event and they were very transparent on what they wanted, I can be able to support them and know that I can back them. If they aren't clear, things may come up in the long run that I might find may not be in my skill set or be a little bit more challenging, right? But if they're upfront, I can also be upfront about, okay, I can provide X, Y, and Z, or I can route you to someone else to be able to provide that support. And I find that that's the same thing in any type of relationship that you may have. I'm really big on relationships as well. I actually do that in my everyday life.
Relationships are everything.
Yeah.
Everything. How you connect with others, because we're humans, we're all looking for that connection with other human beings. And I think that helps your business thrive, right? So in regards to connection, right? So I know one of the biggest parts that I function as is with my partnerships. I partner with organizations all the time. Black Girl Everything is a giant network of partners. So everybody I work with that comes a part of the collective, we all work together in some type of fashion to support our businesses moving forward. Because at this point, I think I've engaged with well over 200 businesses at this point in only 3 years. And a lot of these individuals actually know by their name. So with that, it gives me this entourage of individuals to work with. So as a new organization, how have you been doing with connecting with other businesses and partnerships? Because even if in the event management, event planning industry, you don't do everything yourself. So how has that been going for you as a new business?
So my business is brand spanking new. I launched it just about 2 weeks ago.
Woohoo!
Right. However, I'm not brand spanking new, right? So people know of my reputation and my skill set. So I have been talking to all my networks. I have my sorority, I have my friends. My sorority has thankfully opened up the door. So shout out to Sigma and the Upsilon Sinitas Latinas in Sorority Incorporated, because they've opened up the doors for me into the Greek world, where I have been able to network with other people. I also have my school as well. So for example, the Greek life director, I recently contacted her and told her that I was applying for event planning positions, and I was starting up my own event planning business, and she was really excited for me, and I maintained those relationships with my campus. On top of that, I have been starting my own podcast with a friend of mine. And so that, so stay tuned for that. So that is another platform that I'm creating to be able to get my business out there.
Oh, I think that's dope. I think that's dope. So, right now I'm in the process of opening a store. You may not know that. So Black Girl Everything is opening the first storefront. I found the location. I'm still raising more seed money to open up. And one of the key things I'm putting in there is going to be a content space where people who do podcasting and stuff like that can actually come and rent out a small studio space to be able to do. It's going to be really sexy and really, really cool. Because right now, this is my home office, right? It's upstairs. And sometimes my dog comes up here, or sometimes my 3-year-old comes up here when I'm actually recording. And it's like, especially when she was younger. I have plenty of videos when I first started doing this 2 years ago with like my 1-year-old on my lap, because she just showed up upstairs. And what I'm going to do is put in a video, might as well, right? So I get it. So also I need space to be able to work. But I think that's cool that you're doing a podcast. So what is going to be the subject matter behind it? Like, what is going to be your point? Or are you just going to get up and just talk?
Basically, but no, so the podcast is with a friend of mine. His name is Rodney. And so the goal of the podcast is talk about relationships, right? And we know I love talking about relationships and relationship dynamics, and how to be able to make connections with people, and how to foster healthy conversations and connections. That's the main goal of it.
Okay, so I'm going to keep on moving with this whole relationship thing. I've been waiting for you to drop the bomb about what else you do. I've been waiting for it. You didn't think I was going to talk about it? You didn't think I was going to bring it up? First of all,
I did.
You're dynamite. You have all these different cool things that you do. So we're going to sell all parts of you. So what else do you do, young lady?
Okay, so I have a list of things. Let me pull it out really quick now. So
listen, I'm ready. I'm listening.
So I have Cloudside events, that's why I'm here, but I also have created my own game called Let's See Other People. And so it's a role-playing game, and it allows for partners to be able to get into any rooms, I'll say, right? We leave it nice and broad and really get more comfortable with each other in a way that is beginner friendly. And it also offers some friendlier tips to be able to spice things up. So it's a multifaceted game. On top of that, I also am working on a children's book. It is coming out soon. And that book is, the purpose of it is to be able to foster healthy conversations between children and their parents, and for parents to let their children have an open door policy so that their child always feels comfortable coming to them. And then currently I haven't released this yet, but I am working on a planner as well. I am. So those are the things I'm currently working on, along with Cloudside events.
Okay, so listen, because everything's about multiple streams of income. I say this to people all the time. If you're sitting there living just off one stream of income, I don't know how you're living. The world doesn't work like that, because what happens if that stream disappears? Then you have nothing else to rely on, right? So multiple streams is the game to play. So obviously you're playing the game right. Right. Trying to build up different businesses in different ways and different functions, because you're talking about from event planning, but then you're also talking about leading retreats, and you're talking about games based off of intimacy. And then you're talking about communication. Then you're talking about, I'm having children's book too. How about it? Right. And which also leads into parenting. So also now you can sit there and do events for parents as a parent coach, because you also want to talk about connections and relationships and communication. Right. So all that is just opening up to all the money.
Yes, that's why I said I do it all. Like I do.
Why not?
I have a background in program development and creating curriculums, and so I am very skilled with being able to incorporate my events with that mindset. And that's why I said like the leadership and the team building. When I think of going into a new space, I'm always thinking of how can we develop this to be a better space than where I came in on? How can I leave it better? So that's what I'm always constantly thinking of. It's, again, the Virgo in me.
No, I totally get it. I totally get it. I think that a lot of my events, how I plan things out, they're kind of like a lesson plan. So I get it. It's like, bing, okay, so this is where I'm going. This is the goal. So how am I going to create the goal? How am I going to scaffold this whole event so it equals this end result, right? Yes. So it's just that logical way of thinking that makes things incredibly successful, because you see all the ins and outs of it. So it's not just like, oh, I'm gonna throw a party. No, that's not the way this world works. There's so many parts to it, so many different movements to it, that you have to get organized in the thought process. Okay. Now let's not even get into plastic tablecloths. Don't threaten me with that. It's like a threat against my life. Plastic tablecloths are a threat to my life. Okay. If I walk in somebody's party as a plastic tablecloth, I might just throw it. I might not. The same. Ask my friends, they will tell you. It's a hard time for me.
Noted.
Noted. Do my events, my pop-ups. I'm very clear. You cannot come here with a plastic tablecloth. If you need a tablecloth, one will be provided to you before you use a plastic tablecloth. No, not doing it. Not doing it. So,
I love that.
I'm clear, very clear on that. So
we spoke about transparency.
Exactly, all day long. So in regards to your game, how can you actually order the game?
So I do have a pre-order form currently right now. I will. So it's in my Instagram if you go to Cloud Sci Events, but I will also drop the post again, and I can tag Black Girl Everything to be able to share that and spread that with your network if we want to talk about networking here.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that is really important for people to be able to find you. So how can people find you, young lady?
Yeah, so you can find me by my name, Cyan Clemente. It's my Instagram name, cyan.clemente. That's usually the go-to. Also, I have LinkedIn, which is under Cyan Clemente. And then for my event planning business, it's Cloud Sci Events. If you are interested in my event planning business, you can also schedule a free webinar, a free consultation as well. And we can be able to discuss your vision and see what I can be able to do and how I can support you as well.
Yeah, my brain is going about all the other things you should be doing. That's how my brain works. It's just how it works. People feed me information, and then I process all of it, and I'm like, ooh, you should do this, and ooh, you should do that. And you know what? I think you might be really good at this too. Because I didn't know that you actually did planning curriculum and stuff like that. I didn't know that.
I do. I sure do. We can have a lot more conversations about that.
Yeah, especially as I start building up this nonprofit, I need a lot of curriculum. And actually, I need curriculum at DT too. So yeah, that's really interesting.
I would love to support you on that. I really would.
Yeah, because I'm kind of cool. Also, so I wanted to thank you for coming on. But my last question, I'm sorry, I skipped my favorite question.
Okay.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, that's a goodie. I see myself in my own event planning franchise, overseeing multiple event planners nationwide using my own strategic Cyan method to event plan.
I can dig that.
Right.
I can dig that, and I can see it. You do mad corporate events and everything else, right?
Yeah.
Because people get so caught up, and it's like, it was like, for me, it's like, oh, but you work with certain event planners. Yeah, I can work with so many more. because all it does is bring more perspectives, different ways and visions of looking at things. Because why you can't have the same look all the time? You need to hire somebody else sometimes. You need a fresh eye because you never know what you may experience.
Yes, exactly. And I'm also really passionate about bringing people up with me, and all about breaking generational curses. So the goal is to be able to bring the village in whatever community that someone is in. So for example, if I have an event planner working under me in California, currently I'm in New York City. So someone's working with me in California, that person will also be able to bring their village up with them to support them as well.
Yeah.
Creating events. And then you have events that are tailored to the community environments. And that's just another way that I fight gentrification, just to put that out there.
Boom.
Right.
Buy back the block.
Exactly.
Right. Black owned businesses, the main reason why I'm opening a storefront in my community. So I'm gonna sit here, I'm going right next to the Italians. Boop, 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 boop. Put my big sign on there, it says Black or everything. Boop, 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 boop. Right in my community where a lot of Black people live. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, because especially because Mount Vernon is one of those places where they're coming. They're built, you can tell by the trains, they're building all the high-rise condos and everything else like that. That's all the beginning of gentrification. That's all how it happens, right? They start coming in droves, you know, because places like Brooklyn and Harlem have gotten so expensive. In Mount Vernon, you're 20 minutes from the city on a train. So it's one of the next locations. So no, buy the block. That's why I own my house in Mount Vernon.
Yes. Yes.
Opening my businesses in Mount Vernon. He's like, you don't go to stuff. Why don't you go somewhere else? No, I'm gonna stay right here in my hood where I'm from.
Right. Taking up space.
And exist because I can.
Exactly.
Definitely. So Cyan, thank you so much for coming on today. This has been a lovely conversation. I learned something new about you today.
Thank you so much for having me. This is really exciting. We should do more of these.
I know, right? Then I could have you my Instagram accounts and we could just do more content on content. And then I could go on your podcast when you guys start podcasting. Absolutely. I have a lot to say about relationships. I love relationships.
Yes, absolutely. And then we can talk about your book some more on there.
Yes, because I definitely am a published author. A book. I have one of those. Somebody asked me the other day, you ready to write another one yet? I'm like, yeah, not yet. Maybe next year.
Let's celebrate what you have.
Don't tempt me. Yeah, no, I'm still embracing this one. It's still a lot more work I want to do with this first piece. So that's it. All right, so Cyan, so have a good night. Thank you so much for coming out. And again, tell everybody how they can find you.
Yes, absolutely. And so you can find me on Instagram with my name, Cyan.Clemente. You can also find my event planning page, Cloudsa Events on Instagram, and you can find me on LinkedIn under my name.
All right. And this is Dr. Glow, Black Girl Everything. Go to my website, purchase tickets for raffles. www.blackgirleverythingllc.com. And what else is cool? Find me, Black Girl Everything LLC, everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, obviously Facebook. All right. And actually, if you just Google me, Dr. Gloria Pope actually come up. I'm very excited about that. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.